Hey everybody, looks like I got one in here. And I just realized I forgot to bring my visual aid for the one movie back here. So maybe that'll give more people time to get in here. So I know at 10 o'clock, the Dead Pit Boys are having um, a fan commentary. So, I mean, I should be done way ahead of time. Now we got two people in here. I should be done with my thing way ahead of time. So if anybody is interested in joining them at well, something's in my hair. I swear, guys. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Hey Darren. I just noticed on the camera there's something white in my hair and it's not my gray hair, it's something else. I don't know what it is. Um, you know. But anyways, I'll try to ignore it. Hopefully, I got it out of there. I don't know if it was a bird feather or what. My birds have been fluttering around everywhere. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I hope, I should be done way ahead of time. I'm only covering a couple of movies and we're starting at 8 o'clock. That gives us a good 2 hours. And I don't think I'm going to go on for 2 hours before the boys do their fan commentary for Madman. And they're going to have a special guest. Looks like Paul Ehlers. Madman himself is going to be on there with them. So, I know everybody's excited about that. Um, and you definitely don't want to miss that. So, that should be, a really good time. See, there's that, whatever that is in my hair. I can't, for the life of me, I cannot get that out. I keep seeing it in there. It's kind of gross. I don't know. I think what I do is I press myself for time and then I get to start looking at things on the camera and then it's like, well, there's something in my hair, there's a big blemish, or there's this, that, and the other. But anyways, um, tonight is the second installment of my dinner with DePalma. And we're going to be talking about Obsession, which unfortunately I don't have a visual for it. I do not own that movie. I did watch it though, because thankfully it was on Tubi. So if you want to go watch it for free, then Tubi has it. And we're also going to be talking about Carrie tonight, and that explains the dinner portion of this stream, which I don't know how I don't want to dump this out, but I was going to show y'all my cake that I got today. This is called carnival cake. And I thought, carnival cake sounds good. And I've also, and no, this isn't alcohol. I've got my juicy red Hawaiian punch. I think it's just like the original Hawaiian punch flavor. It tastes pretty good. I took a sip a little bit earlier. I thought I wasn't going to be able to get the damn bottle open. I was like, man, I should have done this earlier. You know how sometimes the tops, like for soft drinks and for juices and all kinds of things, are just on there way too tight. This was one of those times that it was like that. Uh, Hopefully, I won't have to get up with Brandon, but if he starts barking, I will have to go get him. So I am. If y'all excuse me, I've been looking forward to this cake all day. So I am going to take a little bite of it here, which it is pretty good. But Darren, you said we finally are going to get our Dead Pit Madman commentary of Madman himself. Yes, yes, that that looks to be the case, Darren. TJ, you say cake and punch, very dinner. LOL, I've done that. Yeah, I mean, actually, I had dinner. This is more my snack, which we won't tell anybody. Um, because technically this is supposed to be my dinner with DePalma. So yeah, that cake's very good, and so is the punch. Darren, you say I've only ever seen Obsession once, so I need to rewatch, reevaluate it. Remember it being just okay. Well, I might change your mind on that. I mean, not about rewatching it, but about it just being okay. And I'm going to talk about it here in just a second. So, looks like we got 4 people in here. I know Darren and TJ are definitely in here. So, thanks, guys, for stopping by. Um, I don't know if everybody is going to participate in the cake and punch part. Um, like I said, it's not a requirement, but if you were able to get you a single serving slice of cake and some punch, um, then that's groovy. If not, that's groovy too. But I hope you guys will allow me this little indulgence here while I'm talking about the movies. Um, well, TJ, I'm not going to give away any twist or anything like that in Obsession. So if you want to listen to like the basic story, because if I have any clue that anybody watching or that might watch it later has not seen these movies, I try not to give away, you know, endings and stuff like that. Um, TJ, you said, Darren, I remember the Madman interview they did back in the day. Yeah, I do too. And I also remember seeing Paul Ehlers, I think at the first Fright Night I went to in '09. I think he had a table right almost next to, well, probably next to the Dead Pit Boys that year. So, um, anyway, a couple of, hey, John. Darren, you say, TJ, that Madman interview was my first show I listened to back in 2007. So Darren was a little bit earlier than I was. It wasn't until the end of 2008 before I started listening to him. So, couple of reminders about some things coming up, and then a little bit later, and probably about the last of the month or so. As far as watch alongs, this Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be doing an offerings watch along. And at the request of Old Curly Jaws, the following Saturday, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I will be doing a watch along for Thanksgiving, which is not a very long movie at all. Uh, but I will tell you guys up front that the only link I could find for it that didn't cost was on Tubi. Um, and I know Darren has said that he doesn't really have access to Tubi, so I think it may be on Pluto TV as well. So, Darren, if you want to participate in that one, I don't know if Pluto TV would work for you. I can always put that link up as well. So, now that we got all that stuff out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and start talking about the movies. Um, which the first one, of course, is going to be Obsession. Oh, I did want to remind you that next week, oh gosh, but next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I may have it. Usually I'm going to have these on Thursdays, but because that's a holiday and people are probably going to be spending time with their families and all of that, I think what I'm going to do is instead of a Thursday next week, we will do my dinner with DePalma on Wednesday because I'm not doing the Cheese Extreme Wednesdays anymore. So you got the Offerings Blu-ray, Darren, but I bet you don't have Thanksgiving though. Thanksgiving was the one that I could only find a link to watch it for free on either Tubi or Pluto TV. Yeah, that might be an idea. I'll think about that, TJ. You said Thanksgiving should be a double feature with Poltergeist. But so we'll plan on the My Dinner with DePalma being temporarily changed next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the movies I'm going to be covering are The Fury and Home Movies. And that's going to be two totally different types of movies. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll let y'all know what the snack / dinner portion is going to be for that one. Darren, yeah, that's a good idea too. You say, no, I'm sure I can get Thanksgiving online, LOL. Maybe even on one of my hard drives. Okay, cool. So now that I got all that stuff out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about Obsession. And I thought to kick it off, since I don't have a visual for this one, I'm going to see if I can find a trailer real quick for this movie. There's a little bit. This movie came out in 1976. It's only PG, keep in mind here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. If y'all will give me just a second here. And
Amber?
Okay. I'm trying to make this bigger. Oh, I think it's
We're gonna find a way out of this. She got rolled up by a guerrilla group.
CIA wants a war.
We can't let it die.
There we go.
That eerie sensation that you've seen a stranger before. Everyone's experienced it. Call it déjà vu. This man calls it terror. Master filmmaker Brian DePalma now creates Obsession. Michael Cortland has denied a nightmare for 16 years. Now that nightmare will have its revenge.
What was she like?
Elizabeth. She was very much like you.
How did she die?
I killed her.
Cliff Robertson. Jean-Pierre Bougeot.
I am Elizabeth. I came to give you a second chance to prove your love.
An act of love in its ultimate state becomes the ultimate in suspense. Obsession.
Okay. So that was a little trailer action for you for Obsession. TJ, you say the Fury, aka Cease now switches schools, right? Yeah. Um, so basic plot of Obsession, and I promise I'm not going to give any spoilers, so TJ, don't worry. But uh, basically, the movie starts out and a couple played by Cliff Robertson and I cannot Genevieve, however Bijold or however you pronounce her name. They are celebrating their wedding anniversary, and it's starts out in the 50s. Of course, this movie came out in 76, the year I was born, so it's 46 years old. It's the same old, age as I am, and but the beginning of the movie takes place in the 50s, and they have this big party, and John Lithgow plays Cliff Robertson's, I guess, business partner, and they've got all these different land deals and things going, and both guys are fairly wealthy, which you can obviously tell, and so they have the party and everything, and then um, Cliff Robertson has who plays the character of Michael, has a little quiet time with his wife and his daughter. And then, unfortunately, these bad people break into their house and kidnap both his wife and his daughter. And so I don't know why he does the thing, why Mike or Michael makes the decisions that he does. Um, but they seem pretty silly what he does, because the kidnappers basically tell him not to call the police. They tell him exactly how much money they want, and if he wants to get his wife and daughter back alive, um, he will, grant their demands. So one thing he does, he calls the damn cops. And I'm like, well, dude, why did you do that? And then, of course, he gives them a suitcase full of not money that they asked for. And the guy obviously had the money at the time to be able to give them the money that they wanted. But he opts not to. And I think the cops even say something about, you don't want to really give them the money. I'm like, this all seems a little crazy to me. Hey, 71. So he does all this stuff, and it turns out bad, because the bad guys take his wife and daughter. They run off of a bridge, I believe, and that's that. Then we fast forward several years, um, and Michael is not remarried or anything, and he's still mourning the death of his wife and his daughter. And he's built this big elaborate monument for his wife and daughter, that looks like the church where he met his wife years and years ago in Italy. So he ends up making a trip back to Italy. And I don't know exactly what he's looking for. Maybe some kind of closure, because he obviously doesn't have the closure that he obviously needs. So he goes into the church, and his friend and business partner, John Lithgow's character, goes with him. And he says, well, I want to go in the church by myself. And he goes in the church and he sees this woman painting in the church. And when she turns around to face him, he's just shocked. It looks exactly like his wife. And he becomes obsessed with this woman, which is obviously where the title of Obsession comes from. So, he takes her out on dates and takes her to nice restaurants, gives her good food, and eventually brings her home to meet everybody and announces that he's going to marry her. But things start getting weird after he brings her home. He starts seeing like visions of his wife, where she's saying, I came back to give you another chance to do the right thing, and on and on and on. And, his John Lithgow's character thinks Michael's losing his mind. And we're not so sure at this point if he is losing his mind. Maybe he is. Things have just spiraled so out of control for him. But I don't want to go into too much of the events that happen after that point, because if I've gotten you interested in watching this just by talking about that little bit, then I definitely don't want to give away anything, because I thought this movie was amazing. I mean, some people might think it's a little bit of a slow burn, because it does take just a little bit to get going. But once it gets going, it's like a roller coaster, or it was for me. And I just loved it. And I was like, how in the world did I miss this movie all these years? I've seen a lot of other Brian DePalma films, but for some reason, this one just slipped under my radar. And I asked Steve if he had seen it, and I think he said he had. And so, again, I don't want to give away any of the details of towards the end, but it does have some twists and turns along the way. One of which I kind of saw coming, but the other one I didn't. And there may be some of you that pick up on both of those, which is fine. But anyway, I really liked Obsession. I think that I can definitely recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen it. And if you're like Darren and you've seen it, but it's been a long time ago, and you just thought it was okay, if you can access it on Tubi or another avenue as a for free version, if you don't own it, then I would urge you to go ahead and watch this thing, because I really think that Brian De Palma made a great film with this. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit of a slow burn, but like I said, once things kick in, and the movie's only an hour and 38 minutes long. It's not super long. So it's not like you're watching a 3-hour movie where it takes half the time of the movie to get going. Um, and I don't think of it as like a horror movie or anything like that. It's, I would say a mystery thriller, maybe. Okay, 71, you said the book was better. Well, usually when there's a book in a movie, 9 times out of 10, the book is always gonna be better, so I totally get that. Darren, you say, you recommend the Arrow edition for this? Get it when there's a sale. Okay, Darren, I'm gonna keep that in mind because I definitely want to own that movie now because I don't know, I just fell in love with this movie. I thought this movie is really, really good, really well made, and I just don't know how it slipped under my radar. Darren, you say, there's a big fly around here now. It's probably after my cake and punch. Uh, but Darren, you say, I respect your opinion, so I will dig this back out and rewatch it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm asking people to go out and buy it and spend tons of money on it or anything like that. I mean, most people can watch it on Tubi. Of course, if you're in the UK, probably not. But most other people can watch it for free on Tubi. Hey, Davey. So, now that I've ate almost all of my cake, I think we're going to move on to the next movie, which is probably more familiar to people. And that is Carrie. And that's where I got the idea to have cake and punch this one, because a lot of the action takes place at a prom. Okay, so again, even though I've got a visual for this one, I am going to let you guys watch a trailer for this. This movie also came out in 1976. So this one is also came out the year I was born. And it's also one of my favorite movies too. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it coming out the year I was born or not. But again, I'm going to share my screen with you guys.
If you don't have a date for the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
I've been invited to the prom.
Crazy Carrie! Crazy Carrie!
This is a little bit of a different trailer, guys.
I can see your dirty fellows. Breasts, Mom. They're called breasts. And every woman has them. I'm going. You can't stop me. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. Guys, I think this is the original one, so I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Hold on just one second. Because I wanted you guys to see like the original trailer for for this. Hold on just one second here.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White, the girl no one likes.
Oh, sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of her. The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
You don't have a date for the prom next Friday. Would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian DePalma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
All right. So I just wanted you to be able to see that original trailer. So let's see here. Davey says he loves the movie Carrie. I do too, Davey. You said the remake I didn't care too much for. Yeah, the remake was just okay. And I think what that first remake, because I did realize that somebody did put in there that there were two remakes. And so with the one of them though, I think part of what they tried to do, and they didn't really need to, was to try to recreate some things from Stephen King's original novel, like the stones pelting the house, things that back in 1976 they weren't easily able to do. But I really think the way DePalma handled it, and I'll talk more about this in a second, is he took the best things from the novel and created pretty much his own version of Carrie. I mean, it took all the best parts from the novel, because the novel, I don't know how many of you have read the novel, but if you've read the novel goes kind of back and forth in time. And it's almost like someone or several someones are interviewing people that were around when Carrie's powers went berserk after the awful things that happened to her at the prom. And so it's a lot of seems like magazine articles, journalism things, where basically somebody's going and interviewing saying, what do you remember about Carrie White? What do you remember about her mother? And it's a very well written book. It was Stephen King's first published novel. It was a novel that he didn't think he could make a go of it and ended up throwing it in the trash. And his wife, Tabitha, retrieved it from the trash and said, "Hey, I think you really got something here." And thank goodness she did. And she encouraged him to continue with it. And then again, that was his first published novel. And TJ, you say, which remake, Davey? Darren, you say, Carrie is arguably his best film. Not my favorite of his, but up there for sure. A classic, and rightly so. Davey, you say the remake came out in 96, I believe. I know that you talking about the first trailer, TJ. Yeah, I was a little shocked at that. It does almost seem like a fan or somebody did it, but I think it was, it may have been a fan. Whoever was doing that 40th anniversary screening or whatever, I'm guessing did that trailer. 71, you said this was a good one, the original. Davey, you say, yep, the original is always good. 71, you say, I don't like the remakes, but then again, I don't like the way they are doing new movies. And most of the new movies, I don't either, 71. Davey, you say, I don't like remake either. Yes, Darren, you were the one that said this one had 2 remakes. TJ, you say, okay, Davey, 1999 was a sequel, then 2 remakes in 2002 and 2013. Yeah, Carrie, the Rage Carrie 2. I like that one pretty well, but it still has nothing on the original. 71, you say 2002 was okay, but 2013, hell no. 2002, I think, was the one that tried to incorporate more of the things from the book. Yes, interesting. They spelled Stephen King as Steven instead of Stephen. Yes. Darren, you say 71 agreed. That 2013 remake was awful. Yep, terrible. I think we're all pretty much in agreement on that one. TJ, you say, yeah, the sequel was meh. The first TV remake wasn't too bad. The 2013, yeah, that's another one. LOL, too bad because Chloe Grace Moritz is a good actor. Now, Curly Jaws is going to go up against us on this. You say, Curly Jaws, I love the Carrie remake 2013. It was fucking badass. There's that generational thing again, Curly Jaws. TJ, you said the TV remake looked like a setup for a TV series that never happened. Yeah. It's been a while since I saw it, TJ, but yeah, that sounds like something that they might have been planning. Darren, you said, I did really enjoy the sequel, Rage. I think it was called. Just a fun watch, nowhere near the original, though. Right. Yeah, that's how I felt about it, too. 71, you said, unfortunately, my mother acted similar to her then. Ooh. At that age, wow. You poor child growing up. No offense to your mom, though. TJ, you say, yeah, King wrote it from the perspective of a police report record. Yes. Dave, you say, I just don't remember, LOL. TJ, you say, my brain is like a water dam, but it holds movie facts, Davey. Yeah, TJ is like, I'd say he's the resident trivia guy because he always has the best trivia. Darren, you say, I only got to see the first 5 minutes of this for a long time. My dad saw the shower scene and switched the TV over. I was about 10 years old. Your dad was like, yeah, that's enough, son. 71, you say, at old Curly Jaws, you better burn up that Chucky doll with a torch. TJ, you say, oh, Curly, I revisited the Fog remake and just got mad at it. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, Chloe was really good as Carrie, was definitely creepy. So, so Sissy Spacek didn't do it for you as the original Carrie, oh, Curly Jaws? Yeah, I don't really either, TJ. You say I don't like what they did to Sue in The Rage. Ha. 71, you say, LOL, nice at Evil Dead Chick. She's always been nasty. She's nicer now. And that's bad to say. TJ, you say, Darren, my dad didn't care what age I saw boobs. Everybody wants to go back in time and grow up at TJ's house. Yeah, there's that generational thing again. It's got to be old Curly Jaws. You said the original Carrie was overrated. It's just okay. LOL. Dave, you say, I saw the movie first and read the book. I did too, because that was during that time period where I was just getting into King. And so things were kind of haphazard and out of order for me. But generally, I do like to read the book first. Oh, Curly Jaws, you said the Fog remake is hands down the top 5 greatest horror films ever made, from the effects, the acting, the music. Well, you know, oh, Curly Jaws, I always say I respect your opinion. I may not always agree with you, but I respect your opinion. Okay. So, I'm going to take these last 2 bites of my cake. Is anybody else participating with cake and punch with me tonight? I was just curious. I kind of wanted to take a poll, see if this actual dinner with DePalma was going over like a lead balloon, or it was an idea. Or oh, so old Curly Jaws has got the punch. All right. Some people aren't big on cake. Too. I realize that. So, anyways, now that I finished that cake, let's get back into Carrie. I have, you know, I talk about how Brian DePalma directed these movies and all that. And he did a stellar job with this, as he does all his other movies. And I think, once again, you know, like I said earlier, I think he took all the best things, the best parts of King's book, and incorporated them into his own adaptation. You know, he adapted it to film. And I have never heard King say one bad thing about this. As far as I know, he's a fan of what DePalma did with his work. And Sissy Spacek, I did want to talk about Sissy Spacek, because here's the thing about Sissy Spacek. Sissy Spacek was about 27, 28 when she played Carrie White. So she wasn't old, but she wasn't young. She definitely wasn't high school age. But honestly, I think she pulled it off. Masterfully pulled it off. Um, and some people may think it's gross of me to talk about this on the stream, but I think it's an important part of both the book and the movie to talk about this, because the scene where, and guys, yes, I'm going to talk about menstrual cycles a little bit, okay? So if you need to cover your ears, go ahead and do that. If you need to step out of the room, it's okay with me. But when Carrie, who is a high school senior, is in the shower, and she's so vulnerable in that shower, and they've just finished playing volleyball, and she's a lot like I was when I was in school. I was not good at sports. I was okay at basketball and badminton and stuff like that, but stuff that took a lot of coordination, I was not good at it. So I felt like Carrie when I was in school. I mean, nobody hit me in the head with her hat. Nobody said you eat shit. But I was made to feel bad in PE class, in gym class, because I didn't have that skill set to be able to play sports. I am not an athletic person. I'm still not an athletic person. I'm more of a, nowadays a computer person or a movie nerd, or, I like to write. I like to read, that's me. I like to be outdoors, in nature. I love animals and stuff like that, but me and sports just do not click. So when I saw Carrie being kind of harassed the way she was, it was like, I know I am this girl. I feel this. And in that way, I was like that girl. Now, I didn't have a crazy religious mother, thank God, that like Carrie White did. And I wasn't going from the horrors of and the harassment at school to being harassed at home. At least I had a safe haven when I went home. So I think that helped me. But in Carrie's case, um, she was never taught the facts of life. Evidently, back then they didn't have sex ed classes and stuff like that where they told kids about things. So if the parents didn't tell them about it and explain, how would they ever know? And it's obvious that Carrie didn't really have any friends. She was a loner. So when she's in the shower and she's very vulnerable and you see the blood run down her leg. And guys, again, I'm not trying to be gross. I'm just saying how the horrified look on Sissy Spacek's face as Carrie when that happens, she thinks she's dying. And if a girl or young woman is never explained how how things work, yeah, if you got blood running down your leg in the shower, you're gonna think, oh my God, I'm dying. You're not gonna think, oh, this is normal. I better get a maxi pad or whatever. So, things go from bad to worse because she runs up to the girls and she doesn't know. She's like, help me, help me. And these girls just use this as another excuse to make fun of poor Carrie. Carrie doesn't know. So they do the thing where they say, plug it up, and they're throwing maxi pads and tampons and everything at her until she's just crouched naked on the floor of the shower or the locker room. And then the gym teacher comes in, and at first she doesn't understand what's going on with Carrie, and she's shaking her and she slaps her across the face because Carrie's clearly hysterical, and she says, come on, grow up, take care of yourself. And then Carrie just screams out and a light bulb explodes, which is one of the first pieces of evidence of her power. And then at that point, Miss Collins, the gym teacher, realizes, gee, this girl, she doesn't know. And at that point, Sue Snell, who was in there pelting Carrie with tampons and pads, just like the rest, or maxi pads, just like the rest of the girls, has a moment of, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done to this poor girl? Hadn't she went through enough? So I'm going to go back up here. You guys are really chatting away in here. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say I'm more of a brownie pie guy. There you go. TJ, you said the best part is what Amy Irving came up with her character in The Rage. If you notice, her office in the school had decked out with 70s stuff and her clothes, like she never got over what happened. Yeah, exactly, TJ. Davey, you say, would you like rum and Coke with your cake? Well, that sounds pretty good, and I do have some rum, but I don't really have any Coke, so, and I probably shouldn't do that. 71, you say, at Davy Henry, that sounds good. DJ, you say, I'll just take the rum, LOL. Yeah, I could pour me some coconut rum. Red, you say, I said good evening, folks. Well, did I miss where you said good evening a little bit earlier, Red? If I did, I'm so sorry. These chat messages are coming in here real fast. You said, well, the original Carrie is way better than the remake. Dana said she agrees as well. 71, you say, I tried watching that zombie Holocaust. Only lasted 5 minutes into it. It was way too much for me last night. Sorry about that, 71. Curly Jaws, you say, I'm surprised we never got a sequel to Carrie, the 2013 one. Imagine Carrie destroying the town. Just have her power bombing sluts. 71, you say, adult Curly Jaws, give it time, they will. 71, you say, some of us weren't cool kids, but the uncool kids ended up being the cool people years later. Yep. Yeah, I saw that happen a lot as well. Darren, you say, DePalma knew how to cast a film. Dario Argento cast Piper Laurie for Trauma based off this film. John Travolta was an unknown, and he later cast him in Blowout. He sure did. Curly Jaws, you say, if somebody told me to eat shit, I would RKO them through 30 lockers. I maybe would now, but not back when I was in high school. At 71, you say, oh, yeah, she did that so well. Red, you say, I didn't realize that PJ, the girl from Halloween 1978, was also in the original Carrie until recently. I think it came on Turner Classic or AMC in October. Yes, 71. Sissy really did this role great. It was so realistic. Darren, you say, probably Nancy Allen's best performance. I don't think she's a good actress, but I guess it pays to be sleeping with the director. And now, I just think what I'll say about Nancy Allen's performances is I think Nancy Allen's performances are uneven. I do agree that this is probably, if not her best, one of her best performances. And I don't think she's a horrible actress. I just, like I said, I think her performances are uneven. TJ, you say, Darren, how dare you? Haha, she was great in RoboCop and Dressed to Kill and awesome in Blowout. Now, A Blowout, we are going to talk about on one of these later, My Dinner with DePalmas. But I will say, I thought that was one of her weaker performances in Blowout. I thought she was great in Dress to Kill, but Blowout, there was something a little weak there, in my opinion. TJ, you say, no, 71, I'm still uncool, but now I'm old. I've come to the conclusion that I'm always going to be uncool. Just like Philip Seymour Hoffman says as Lester Bangs in Almost Famous, where he talks about, I'm always home. I'm uncool, you know. Um, 71, you say at TJ, I think your cool horror movie people are cool. And 71, thank you for saying that. I think horror movie people are cool too. I think they're the best. Red Red, you say, remember the part when Nancy played the bean? I'm trying to think. Must be missing something there. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, where do you rank Carrie in Stephen King's films? For me, oh, Curly Jaws, it's got to be right up near the top. I mean, I used to say that this was my favorite Stephen King film. And you're probably like, oh, God. But I don't know if it's my number one King film now, but it's definitely up there in at least the top 5, I would say. 71, you said Blowout. I have to find that. It's a really good movie. I watched it again recently because I got the 4K of it in. I got the 4K of that and Dress to Kill. So I watched both of those quite recently. Davey, you say, I want to be cool like Carrie. Darren, you say 71 Blowout is superb. 71, you say, I will find it later since my sleeping is basically nothing. Yeah, well, that's a bummer about the sleeping. I know how it is not to be able to sleep. Darren, you say, Salem's Lot, my number one. Salem's Lot's up there for me, too. 71, you say, I love Salem's Lot. Saw it when I was 7. I forgot how old Steve was the first time he saw Salem's Lot, but he said that was a movie that made him sleep for several nights with the covers up around his neck because, you know, the vampires, you know, they'll get you on your neck if you don't do something. But so let's talk a little bit more about Carrie. I mean, y'all can put anything you want in the chat. I just want to try to make sure I cover all of this. Or it'll be one of those things where oh man, I should have talked about that and I didn't. But a little more about Sissy Spacek and this the character of Carrie White. Sissy really wanted this part. And DePalma didn't think she was right for the part. And that really pissed Sissy off. So she was determined she was going to prove to Brian DePalma that she was the right one to play Carrie White. So she comes into the audition she put Vaseline in her hair. She had no makeup on, maybe some frumpy clothes on. And she proved to DePalma that she could do this part. And I can't imagine anybody else in the world playing that part. And, you know, it probably seems unusual to people that read the book because Carrie was described in the book as an overweight girl with pimples and stuff like that. And, of course, Sissy Spacek is nothing like that. Sissy Spacek, very slim in stature, definitely not overweight. And it wasn't really like she had acne or anything like that. Let's see. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, take you about 20 gummies, you be out. I'd be scared to take 20 gummies. 71, you say, I had nightmares for years over that little vampire boy at the window. I think that is something that really, really gets a lot of people. But I brought this up before, but I just wanted to bring it up again real quick since we're talking about Salem's Lot a little bit. The part that really got me was when Mike, the cemetery caretaker, gets turned into a vampire and he shows up at the teacher's house and he's sitting in the rocking chair and he's slowly rocking back and forth. And when he raises his head up to look at the teacher, his eyes are glowing and he does the whole thing, the look at me, teacher. And he's just doing these things with his head and stuff. And it's awesome. And also very creepy. But the boy at the window is creepy too. Davey, you say, I must have been around 12 or 13 when I saw Salem's Lot. 71, you say, I refused to go to bed that night. My mother said I would regret it, but I never did regret it. And you saw Burnt Offerings at like 8. Burnt Offerings is a good movie, but Burnt Offerings, in my opinion, is definitely a slow burn and probably not for everybody. Darren, you say, there's not many films that hold up over the years, but Salem's Lot is as terrifying now as it was back in 1979. There's about a dozen moments in that film that's still memorable. I agree. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, I need to go do a crowdfunding for Stephen King video game, having all his characters like an Mortal Kombat style Carrie. Here's Johnny Guy. That would be cool. 71, you say, at old Curly Jaws, that would be cool, and I don't even know how to play those games. Yeah, I suck at most games too. So I don't know, but I would play it. So if you do the crowdfunding and it works and they do a game, old Curly Jaws, man, I would play it. So is just to verify, is there anybody that's here in the chat right now that has not seen Carrie? Because if you guys have all seen it, then I'm just going to give a little warning to anybody that watches this later. If you have not seen Carrie, either fast forward past this part or, just stop it and go back after you watch Carrie. So if you have not seen Carrie, please tell me so I don't give away the ending for you. TJ, you said, wonder how Carrie would have gone over if she was how she was described in the novel. With the movie, the characters' looks help people sympathize with her. Superficiality runs rampant. Yeah, but I don't know what would have happened with that, TJ. I just think that Sissy Spacek pulled it off so well that I think everybody, from King and DePalma on down to the fans, everybody's pretty much happy with it. But I get what you're saying. With the movie, the characters' look help people sympathize with her. Superficiality runs rampant. 71, you say, oh, Curly Jaws, that might be a great money-making idea. TJ, you say, you need $1 billion at least to get the character rights for the video game. Ha ha. 71, you say, at TJ, you could help at old Curly Jaws both become millionaires. TJ, you say, spend $1 billion to make millions. Ha ha. Darren, you say, didn't Carrie reappear in Friday the 13th, Part 7? Yes, in the guise of Laura Park Lincoln. 71, you say, I don't think it would cost billions. Well, so I'm not sure. Nobody's really saying whether they haven't seen Carrie or not. So I'm kind of scared to give away the ending in case there's somebody that just didn't get around to telling me. So anyway, let's go over a few more things. I think Piper Laurie as Carrie White's mother, Margaret White, is absolutely fantastic in this. I've seen Piper Laurie play crazy characters. I've seen her play normal characters. I've seen her play super sweet characters. And she does all of them, in my opinion, perfectly. And, you know, as far as the freakishly or, you know, I don't know, just really freaky religious types of people. In my opinion, it's okay to be religious. You know, I know religious people. But when you start going over the edge with it, when you go to an extreme with anything, it never ends well. And so the character of Margaret White is an example of extreme religious fanaticism, you know, because like I said, Carrie is unable to get it. She can't get any sauce at school. She can't get any sauce at home. Evidently, she can't get any sauce walking home from school because the little boy on the bicycle, who is Brian DePalma's son, even harasses her by driving by her on his bike and saying, creepy Carrie, creepy Carrie. Of course, she gets her revenge on him by knocking him over with her telekinetic powers on his bike. But then when she gets home, she still doesn't have any solace, because when her mother gets home and she gets the call from the school telling her what has happened to Carrie, this concerns Margaret in ways that it would not concern a normal parent. And by that, I mean, she has Carrie come downstairs after she takes the phone call, and one of the first sentences out of her mouth is, "You're a woman now." And Carrie says, "Why didn't you tell me, Mama?" And the pain, there is such pain in her eyes and her voice when she asked that of Margaret. "Why didn't you tell me, Mama?" And she says, "The girls, they all laughed at me and they threw things at me, Mama." And her mother's pretty much her response to that is not words. It is to hit Carrie in the face with the book, the religious tract, or whatever you want to call it, that she has in her hand. And then she starts reading out of it, you know, saying the first sin was intercourse and all this nonsense. We know it's nonsense, but in Margaret's head, it's all this religious fanaticism in her, that she really believes what she's saying to Carrie, that she thinks that if Carrie hadn't had lustful thoughts, if Carrie hadn't had intercourse, if Carrie hadn't done this or that and the other, the curse of blood would never have come on her. Okay. What Margaret leaves out, and which in her religious fanaticism does not allow her to realize, is that the menstrual cycle is a part of every normal girl's entrance into adulthood. So, but she is not able to sort that out in her delusional mind. She thinks that Carrie must have done something to cause this to happen. So that scene is, I don't know. I think by that point, I was already so wrapped up in the story that I just wanted to cry at that. I wanted to cry for this poor girl who had just been harassed viciously after discovering her first menstrual cycle, and she didn't even know what it was. And then to come home and not get any comfort from her mother, no explanation, just more abuse. So then she throws Carrie in the closet and tells her to pray, and there's this creepy little statue of Jesus. It's the most creepy looking statue of Jesus I've ever seen. And I don't know how long Carrie has to stay in that closet, but she's dragging her, and she's like, "No, Mama, please, Mama, don't do this." And she says, "Go to your closet and pray, ask to be forgiven." And what in the hell is Carrie supposed to be asking for forgiveness for? We all know that she hasn't done anything, other than growing up. I mean, that's all. So let me read your guys' messages here. TJ says she had worse hair, Darren. LOL. Darren, you say, Curly, think of all the gummies you could buy with with $1 million. 71, you say she was a maniac. LOL. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say that's why we would use different names for the characters. Cujo would be the dog that gets bit by a bat. Jack Nicholson's character would be the Hey Johnny guy. We'll have Stephen King as a character. His power up would be he throws cocaine at you. Darren, you say brilliant. 71, you say her mother is just highly religious, and some were really strange about that back then. Yeah, unfortunately, and there are some people that are strange about it now. I don't think it will ever truly go away. 71, you say I went to school with someone that her parents told her nothing ever. The kids basically told this girl everything. So sad. So sad. Davey said the mother was a religious nutcase. Darren, you say you learn more about sex in school than you ever did at home. Some kids can be brutal, certainly back then. Yes. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say, would you be cool to see a Stephen King multiverse where all the movies connect in like a final film, like all of Stephen King's characters fighting each other? That might be interesting, oh Curly Jaws. 71, you said that sounds complicated and overwhelming. TJ, you said Piper Laurie thought it was a satire when she read the script a second time. She actually thought it was a comedy at first. Yeah, I think I remember an interview with her where she said that. So I don't want to go too overly long on this. I mean, I have been on here for a little over an hour total. But I guess for me anyway, there's so much to love about this movie that I could just go on. I could probably go on for days about this movie, but I won't. But I think everybody was cast very well in this. I'm glad that Sissy Spacek was able to convince Brian DePalma to allow her to play Carrie White. I think Amy Irving was Amy Irving was awesome as Sue Snell, and this is why I think she was, because Amy Irving had the ability to play a real girl. And let me explain a little bit about what I mean by that. Because some of you might be thinking, what are you talking about, real girl? She really seemed to have those emotions. The caught up in the pack mentality of throwing the maxi pads and the tampons at Carrie and screaming plug it up at her and watching her go fall to the ground. Then when the gym teacher, Miss Collins, comes in and shakes Sue and she's like, what are you doing? It's like a flashbulb goes off in her brain and she's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And the look on her face is such a realistic look when she has the realization of what she has just done. And then when Sue goes even further by asking Tommy, her boyfriend, to take Carrie to the prom, she's willing to just totally forget about her senior prom to make up to this girl for the things that she's done to her. I couldn't imagine too many people doing that. I know there are people out there that would. But Amy Irving, as an actress, pulled that off so well and so realistically. I mean, we talked about Sissy Spacek being realistic as Carrie. I think Amy Irving deserves kudos as well for being able to pull off the Sue Snell character so perfectly. William Catt was fantastic as Tommy. Nancy Allen was fantastic as the bitchy Chris Hargensen. PJ Souls was excellent as the best friend of Chris Hargensen. She and something else about PJ Souls. PJ Souls refuses to just be a background player, and she refuses to just be a tag along. Whenever she is in a movie, she's giving it her all. She's not willing to just let somebody have the spotlight and her just kind of say something every once in a while. She wants to be ever present in that movie. And I think PJ Souls does that awesomely in every movie she's in. She did it in Halloween. She did it in Carrie. I mean, there are some movies where she is the main focus. For instance, Rock and Roll High School, where she is the ultimate Ramones fan and stuff like that. But in these other movies where she could have just been just a secondary character that was just there and gone and everybody forgot about her. But PJ Souls refuses to do that. And I have great admiration for somebody that refuses to just be a background person. She takes each character and makes it her own. And you remember that girl. I mean, some people may say, well, gee, I don't remember her and such. But I always remember PJ Souls, no matter what role she's playing. Darren, you said, let's not forget Friday the 13th ripped off the ending. Yeah, a lot of movies ripped off that fantastic ending. And I'm going to play it cool and not give away that just in case there's somebody in here that has not seen it. 71, you say Amy Irving was great. I agree. TJ, you say Sue was so sweet, empathetic, and giving that she caused the prom massacre. LOL. Yeah, that wasn't her ultimate intention. Oh, and let's not forget John Travolta. Whatever you may think of John Travolta nowadays, he was awesome in this movie. And I think that he and Nancy Allen were the great evil power couple. Is the best way I can describe them. Dave, you say, yep, Sue was great. 71, you say, I never realized that they copied that ending. Yeah, I think they, like I said, I think they copied the Carrie ending for a lot of horror movies that came after. But guys, I could, gush more about Carrie, but like I said, um I don't intend these to be that long. And you guys right now have got a little over half an hour before the Dead Pit Boys, joined by Paul Ehlers, do the Madman fan commentary. So I know there's probably some of you, if not all of you, that want to go over for that. And so I always, like I say, I try not to crisscross on any of their stuff. Just out of respect for them, and also out of respect for you guys. If I don't want people to be torn between do I stay in Dana's, but yeah, I'd really like to listen to this fan commentary. So I'm cognizant of all of that and try to be, like I said, respectful of both them, and y'all's time and the time that they have put into their streams as well. So anyway, I can probably stay on here till about 9:30, about 5 more minutes. If anybody wants to bring up anything, or ask me anything or recommend anything. I did definitely have time to finish my piece of cake, and I may get me another glass of punch after this is over, but I'm not going to right now. I might take a sip of my soft drink though. But if there's anything that any of you guys want to bring up in these last few minutes, we had a pretty good crowd in here tonight. I was happy about that. We had, around 10 most of the time. Ooh, 71, you say, I made devil's food cake today. That sounds good. I love anything chocolate. Oh, goodness. Another thing is the reason why I can't, until we bring the space heater in here, this back room, like I've said before, it gets cold back here. So, I love spending time talking to you guys and stuff and chatting about movies and things. But, I'm looking forward to going back in there where it's warm as well. So, TJ, you say you love my food evil. But I did want to remind everybody again, for those of you that weren't in here a little bit earlier, that I am planning on doing an offerings watch along this Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, unless I have to change it for some reason. I'm not planning on it. And the following Saturday, we will be doing a watch along for Thanksgiving. So aren't you excited about that, old Curly Jaws? Because I told you I was going to do that. And I will be putting the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join me live on the stream for either or both of those watch alongs. I'm figuring old Curly Jaws might want to join me for the Thanksgiving one, since he brought that up. I'm sure he has a lot to say about Thanksgiving. 71, you say, I need a rotating space heater. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. 71, you say, I want to watch that. Never saw that. Which one, 71, offerings or Thanksgiving? Dave, you say, I'm excited. Well, I'm glad. Darren, you say, Steve doing a Dead Pit show on Saturday? I haven't really asked him, Darren, so I don't know 100% if he is. Um, I'll have to see if I can ask him, and maybe I can send you a chat message or something. Because usually on Fridays I don't do these streams, but he's asleep now. I would ask him, but he's probably been asleep for a couple hours now. Um, or about that. But yeah, I'll touch base with him, Darren, and try to find out if he's going to do one or not. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, cool. So we probably got a few more seconds here. I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to bring up before I get off of here. So let me ask y'all this. Do y'all like this dinner idea or snack idea to go along with the my dinner with DePalma streams? Because I mean, I really I like the idea, and I'm glad that TJ brought that up at the end of my first stream that I did. Um, but if 71, you say yes, I do. Okay. 71, you say I also like you eating so your sugar stays good. Well, yeah, that is important in my case. And probably shouldn't have been eating that much sugar, but I didn't eat a whole lot today. So I'm hoping it, balances out in the end. Yeah, and it does give me a chance to, like, at least, on the nights when I do these, to have a little snack while I'm doing the stream. And I don't have to wait so late to have a snack. TJ, you say, thank me. I'm welcome. Ha ha. No, I do thank you for giving me that idea, TJ, because I don't know. I guess I just didn't put two and two together or something. But when you said that, I was like, yeah, that is a cool idea. So, of course, I give you credit for that, TJ. So, with all that being said, guys, it is now 9:31. And I know the Dead Pit Boys are doing that fan commentary, so I'm sure some of you will want to go over there for that. And some people might just want to catch some Z's. So I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight for the second installment of my dinner with DePalma. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, next week, my dinner with DePalma will be on Wednesday instead of Thursday, because Thursday of next week is Thanksgiving. And I figure people are going to be super, super busy and spending time with their family and eating loads of food and all that stuff. So I will be having it on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we will be discussing The Fury and home movies. So you can look forward to that. Good night, Darren. Good night, 71. And good night, TJ. Good night, Davey. And with that, I am going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.